No, I'm not even on the screen. I was over here. I was on the screen.
Okay.
I'm back here. I'm over here. Hello.
You were kind of like you were giving me a tour of Oz. Come on, little man. Don't touch anything. What do you think about my phrases? Seriously, what do you think about those phrases that are overused?
It is interesting that I use a lot of those. And it does come from when I worked as an engineer at IBM, because IBM is such a large corporation. It's fascinating to me how these phrases are perpetuated. It's like when there's an ecosystem of people working together, these phrases catch on like wildfire. Like in any meeting, if someone has to leave the meeting, they would say, I've got a hard stop in 5 minutes, so. And that's basically their way of saying, and I always thought it was very weird. I could never bring myself to say that one. The meeting can't go over. You have somewhere else to be.
Why don't you just say that?
They called it a hard stop. I have a hard stop at 11.
I just don't like, in general, I don't like
catchphrases.
Those kinds of phrases.
It makes you,
because it makes you seem like
think that the person is like a tool. Tools use catchphrases.
Well, what happens
because it's like I don't only want to communicate something, but I think it's cool to use this phrase. Like a catchphrase, there's implied a self-awareness of I'm cool when I'm saying this.
It's not
because
just
it's
that.
lingo.
It's not just it's like, oh, I've been here longer than you.
Oh.
Like I have some authority. Like I know how to speak. You say you've got to be somewhere at 11. I say I've got a hard stop. I thought hard out at 11. Some people say that too.
Yeah, I have a hard out. They would say that.
Yeah, and I mean,
I have a hard stop. I have a hard out.
These kinds of things. It's just if you say that stuff at work, you end up saying it at home.
Yeah.
If I go home and I tell my wife, I'm like, baby, I got a hard out at 11.
Let's pick a different term.
Then okay, if I'm like,
you have some on your list here. I'll tell you if I've done any of these.
I mean, I can't.
You have new ones, right?
With a straight face, I can't tell someone to think outside the box. I can't do that. I feel like I'm not thinking outside the box by telling someone to think outside the box.
There is.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's ironic, yes. Especially if you're standing in a box.
Open your brain windows. That's pretty good.
It doesn't make any sense. Make yourself vomit. Go to the new ones.
Yeah, make yourself vomit is
I get the rest.
You guys are gonna have to make yourself vomit on this one. It's like, whoa, we gotta really try hard.
I get it.
You totally.
What are the new ones?
Crapped all over my phrases, man.
But what? Yeah, I'm very interested in the origin of the term throw under the bus. I really threw Tina under the bus on that one. There was a kid in our elementary school who literally got run over by a bus. I mean, but no one in our school said that.
He sank. It was so hot. He sank down into the
asphalt. It ran over his head. The wheel of the bus.
Bradley Dowd?
No. The wheel of the bus ran over his skull.
That's not true.
But it was so hot that the asphalt melted and pushed him down into it, and he totally survived.
It wasn't his head, man. It was his chest. It's an urban legend. Who was it? I don't even know who he was.
It might not have even happened.
There was a kid in our elementary school where there was only 300 students. And let me tell you what happened to him. I don't remember who it was.
Read some more of the corporate ones, and I'll tell you if I would say them back in the day.
Give you a heads up. This is not corporate. This is every. I will admit I say this one. Give you, and I do also say FYI. Give you a heads up. I'm going to give you a heads up on this and let you know that we're going to fire you.
They're all related to like being rude to somebody or firing somebody. Okay, take it offline means let's not talk about this in this meeting. Let's talk about this later.
Like I was saying, we should take this
conversation. I would say that. Now, one that went around a lot was due diligence. I'm going to do my due diligence on this one.
Yeah, and I hate it because it says you end up saying doo-doo.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
That's when the answers come back bad. I did doo diligence. It's a bunch of dude came from that. But I always thought it was D-O, diligence. I'm gonna do diligence. I'm gonna be diligent about what I'm about to do. But really, I'm gonna give it its due, D-U-E, diligence.
I think here's my advice for those of you.
Does that fascinate you?
Out there in the corporate world who you're trying to work your way up. You can fall in line.
Screw you. I thought that's what you were gonna say. Here's my advice for all the people in the corporate world.
No, I'm giving legitimate advice now, man. You've soiled it. You've done due diligence on my advice. Seriously. And I think we need to focus back on our faces because it was like focus back there just.
Oh, we're out of focus. Oh yeah, we are.
Now we are. We're in focus now. So
thanks for joining us for Good Mythical More.
We're in focus.
Well, we're now in focus.
Okay.
That's fine.
Seriously.
I don't mean to throw you under the bus on that one, but we're gonna have to take this offline.
You can be a person who talks like that in your job.
Open the wing flaps.
You'll progress. You'll probably move up a few ladders, but then you're just gonna be another person who's just part of the problem. Whereas if you're like, you know what? I noticed this person, they don't use any of those terms. It's like when they need to be out of a meeting, they just say they need to be out of a meeting. All of a sudden people are gonna be like, can she say that? Can she talk like that? And then next thing you know, she'll be the CEO. And everyone will be talking normally again.
I agree with that. I think one that everyone would say, people would say net. These aren't on your list. I'm remembering these. People say net.
What? Spider-Man?
Like, if you wanted to totally boil down a point, like if you've been talking for 15 minutes, like, listen, bottom line is,
bottom line.
The updated version of bottom line was net, and then they would say something. How ridiculous is that? I mean, how can you take anyone seriously if they're like net?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And they would also say,
blocking and tackling? You ever heard anybody say that?
Yeah, it's like get back to the fundamentals. Right?
Yeah.
Primary task or basic task, yeah.
Get back to basics, man. Why can't you just say that? Blocking and tackling, what?
Client engagement. I've never heard of that.
Take it to the next level. I think that's good. I don't think we should get rid of that. Take it to the next level? Of course, that's good.
Remember there was a friend of ours whose wife would say...
At any rate?
At any rate. You remember that? We talked about that before.
But she would say at any rate. At any time.
At every rate.
Yeah.
At a very high rate.
Yeah. At any rate.
At any rate. Be like, whenever there was nothing to say, well, at any rate.
Seriously, that's you
What, you think that's funny?
People do that with anyway.
Anyways.
That's like an thing when people are
but at least it makes
you know
sense.
What I mean. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Know what I mean?
I know.
You know what I mean?
But at least,
yeah.
I'm annoyed by it.
What? Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Know what I mean?
At any rate.
Yeah.
At any rate doesn't make any sense.
It is
At any rate, it doesn't.
Well, when in Rome. Say that.
When in Rome, does a bear crap in the woods?